say hello. Hello everyone, we're talking about something serious, so pay attention. Bish bash bosh.
Mwah. Hello my beautiful butterflies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beverley and it is so lovely to see you today. In today's video we're going to be talking about disability, activism and witchcraft and how the two things cross over. So grab that cup of tea, let's get to it. So I do have my notes here, but there is something that I wanted to read out to you, something that came to mind when I was researching this. Witchcraft is more than herbs, crystals and spells. It's about justice, healing and reclaiming our personal power. Witchcraft is a powerful tool for reclaiming our bodies in a world that seeks to silence us. If anyone's been watching the news recently, you'll know the world is basically a dumpster fire at the moment, and I think it can be very overwhelming, it can be a very scary place, but it's a time as witches and disabled witches especially where we can really show who we are, we can really step out of our comfort zones and really get involved with activism. And activism, the word, scares me, and if it scares you too, that's okay. We've seen recently in America like disabled people being arrested, dragged away from their chairs and things. I've seen so many things recently, like the UK government not listening to charities or anybody when it comes to how their new ideas of making money are going to affect us as a disabled community. And it can feel like we have no power, no dignity, but guess what, all through history people have felt exactly the same way. And so it's time that we start to fight those misconceptions about witches and about disabled people, because there's a lot of ways that those two things go together. I think a lot of the time when we look online, when we read witchcraft books, although it is starting to change, it's very much aimed at able-bodied people, which is strange to me because I think a lot of people, including myself, only really got into witchcraft or started to learn about witchcraft because they became disabled or due to an illness. They wanted a hobby or an interest, something sparked something. And I find here on the channel, many of you who watch my videos and find me in the old algorithmic way are disabled witches, and I think that's amazing. Like, there was a point where I thought, oh, I'm one of only a few disabled witches, and when you actually start to look around you realise that many people are on the spectrum, are neurodivergent, have depression or mental health issues or physical health issues. And so it's really important that we start to break down those misconceptions around witchcraft and what it actually is, because it's by doing rituals, self-care, shadow work, self-love, all that kind of thing that witchcraft practices tend to centre around. Working on ourselves, working on who we are. All these types of witchcraft work do in fact cultivate healing and empowerment and self-expression in us witches, and I think it's important to remember that. It's important to look at the practices that you do, that you reach for as a disabled witch or you feel called to as a disabled witch, and realise that they're about self-empowerment, self-expression, healing. You know, we see so much of that in disabled books, in YouTube spaces, and I know for me they're the things that I tend to do as my witchcraft practices. And because of that, we need to remember that we have the power. We can build up that power in ourselves, that self-belief, that self-worth. I mean, even like just before I came and did this video, I put some pressed powder on my face because shiny and sweaty and not great, because it's the summer here in the UK and we live in houses that are basically ovens. But I have spelled the item that I use to keep my makeup in, to give me confidence and to make me feel beautiful. By me feeling beautiful, I then exude a bit more confidence. I feel a bit better about myself and I'm able to do better videos here on YouTube because of it. And It's those little steps that we can take, those little spells, those little rituals that we can bring into our everyday that are going to help us to feel better about ourselves and therefore project ourselves better into the world, if that makes sense. I was doing some reading for this, and I was realising that throughout history, that's what witchcraft has done. Many people who were witches, they probably didn't call themselves witches, but many people who were marginalised people who lived on the outskirts of town, who were the mysterious woman with all the cats. I don't know, I just always picture that. Probably wrong. Those people were the people who were healing. They were using the natural world around them, plants, crystals, stones, the things they found to help heal and treat people who were disabled and had chronic illnesses. And also, a lot of the time, people who were accused of witchcraft had disabilities. Like, the more I've been looking into it in the past, I've realised people who had visions and things may have been having seizures, or may have been told they had the devil's mark and it was just like a birthmark or a tumour or something. People who had disfigurements, like we often see, you know, the Wicked Witch having green skin and being talked about in a way. We saw The Witches, the movie and the TV series and the books, The Witches, where they all had disfigurements, and some of them had like missing limbs and stuff. Those things that we see and think of as the witch are all things that are actually disabilities. And so I think it's important to remember that though those people back in the day were putting their lives on the risk. They were putting their lives at risk back in the day to try and help people and to practice their craft. And that's what we're doing now. You know, a lot of the time there are people who are practicing in the Bible Belt of America or in countries where the word witch is seen as a really awful, terrible thing. I mean, even when I moved in with my mom, who was brought up Catholic, she was like, oh, I don't know that I want you practicing witchcraft in my house. And I had to kind of show her what witchcraft really was. And then she was like, oh, is that all it is? Fine then. It's basically what Catholics do. And it changed how she felt about things and the way she saw things. And so we have a long way to go. We need to push forward. And when we see things like Disability Pride Month, which it is at the moment, every July is Disability Pride Month, I don't think it helps that we're the month after Gay Pride, because people think it's the same thing or they get them muddled up. The thing that annoys me is that when it's Gay Pride, there's rainbows everywhere. All the shops suddenly have the rainbows in their logos, and rainbow t-shirts for sale, and rainbow sweets and chocolates and everything you can imagine. If it's sitting still in a warehouse somewhere long enough, they're going to slap a rainbow on it. Yet when it's our month, you don't see or hear a single thing. And that is why I know that we need to keep challenging those misconceptions about disability and disabled people, as well as the way our governments see us as just a drain on society, the way people in society see us, leaving nasty messages and comments on disabled advocates' stream and their posts, and it's so sad to see. But it makes me realise that we have so much more to do, so much more to push against. And that's why this month I think it's really important to think about the things that we can do. I know that there's a lot of demonstrations going on, and there are people who are going to Parliament in their wheelchairs and taking part in things in person, but not all of us can do that. I know I could. My fatigue levels are just not at a point where I could do that sort of thing. But I can write to my MP. I don't know what it would do, but we can do that. We can take part in things like online protests, and I think protests should be more inclusive in that way, where people's numbers are added to and you can sign in online as if you're there, or watch it online, that sort of thing. I think that's something that really needs to be worked on. We're getting there, but we still need to push, we still need to make things happen. It's just very frustrating, isn't it? There's a lot of pluses in the world though, and a lot of charities are speaking up. They are standing with us. We see a lot of posts, a lot of people making posts who are allies, who want to stand with us in this month of Disability Pride. And there are spells and rituals that we can do, sigils we can create. There are things that we can do that will help bolster and stand with anybody who is trying to move things forward, trying to make things happen. So those are things that you can do. There's so many advocates online now. The social media has made it so that we have a voice as disabled people, and I love that. I know for me that when I started this YouTube channel, it was because I wanted to have a voice. I wanted to be able to talk. I can't leave the house very often. If you watch my weekly vlogs, I am going out the house a bit more, like once or twice a week. But it used to be nothing. For weeks and weeks I would just be in the house. I would barely talk to people, and I was lonely, and I was a bit sheltered and stuck away because of my disabilities. And then a YouTuber who I really love, who is no longer a creator but is still an amazing person, and they basically said to me, you have a voice, you need to get on social media and make videos and make posts. And here we are, and there are so many of us out there. So if you're looking for people to follow, people to join, just look up Disability Pride Month on social media and you will find so many advocates, so many people this month speaking out, trying to get people to hear us in the void. So make sure you're sharing posts into your stories, reblogging, reposting people, sharing things out as much as you can so that people see us and hear about us who are not in the disabled community. Sometimes it gets a bit lost. You know, the people who watch our videos are already disabled witches, and we kind of need to get our voices heard in communities that are not just disabled witches. So sharing is a big help, bigger help than anything probably that you can think of. Also leaving comments and likes are really important because they help the algorithm to think that you want to be seen more, and so it shares you out a bit more. I don't fully understand how the algorithm works. Does anyone? I don't think they do, but we're doing our best. We need to make witchcraft and witchcraft spaces more inclusive. We need to make our online spaces more inclusive. And our pictures, like there are so many pictures of witches in the middle of the woods, you know, looking all cottagecore and fairy and incredible, but many witches can't get out into the middle of the woods, you know, like many things like that. Like I want to really see these things change. Yes, it's amazing to have these magical fairy tale pictures, but where are the witches in the middle of the forest in their wheelchairs with their witchy hats on? I need to start doing that. I think this video is as much to push myself as it is to inspire you all to start doing the same, and I hope that it will do that, because the more we talk, the more we are seen, the more we're heard, the more the world and society starts to change, and people's attitudes towards us as a community of disabled witches, things will change, and people's opinion of us and their misconceptions will start to be broken down, and we will start to get somewhere. We've got a long way ahead of us, but just look how far we've come. Just like 200 years ago, we would have been in an asylum somewhere, just left, and no help would have been given to us, or we would have been in prison or put to death for practicing witchcraft. And now here we are on social media being loud and proud. Things are definitely moving forward. They're getting better, but they need to keep going. So that's what this video hopefully will help us to start thinking about and talking about more. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to head down below and leave it a cheeky like, comment and subscribe. All those things are completely free. They help me to know, and the YouTubiverse to know, that you enjoyed my video, and it'll share it out just that little bit more. Don't forget to head down below as well to check out my Ko-fi and my Patreon, and a huge thank you to everybody who has supported me thus far in my YouTube blogging sort of journey. I will see you all in my next video. Have a wonderful magical week. Don't forget you are loved. Bye.